Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Good Business Africa podcast, a platform that is specifically designed to have conversations around what it means to be a good business. Not just a good business, but a good business in Africa. In today's episode, I'm featuring Hilda. She's going to tell you who she is, but at the end of the day, just remember what we talk about on the platform, which is how can businesses be advocates for good. Hilda, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. So my name is Hilda Njeru. I take care of legal and governance as well as sustainability and ESG for Britam Group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what does that entail?
So it entails managing and mitigating all legal risks,
Okay.
governance risks. That includes how do we arrive at our decisions,
Yeah.
how do we safeguard our business and our clients and our partners from legal shocks, as it were.
Yes.
And then now when we switch to the sustainability and ESG matters, that's the new buzzword in town.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's quite some detail in there, which I believe we'll cover in this conversation.
Yeah. If you look at the concept of ESG in general, the one topic that is usually not highlighted as much is governance, even though that informs the very basis of even coming up or adapting to ESG strategies. From your perspective, why is that the case? Why is it that people don't focus on governance as such?
I think governance is a bit of a courageous conversation kind of place.
Yes.
Because it's the sensitive things that which must be done right.
Yeah.
And which people don't want to be called out when they are going wrong, for instance.
Yeah, true.
It speaks to leadership.
Yes.
It speaks to integrity.
Yeah.
And so when we are doing good governance, we cannot afford to not have governance structures in place. So for instance, what is the integrity of the management decision making? How do boards arrive at decisions?
Yeah.
And are those decisions anchored towards the protection of the customers and the investors?
Yes.
And a lot of times, I suppose why the governance conversation is a bit difficult is because businesses are geared towards making profits, largely so. But the new dispensation is that we must be mindful of the impact that we are making or leaving, even as we make profits. And so at Britam, we are keen to ensure that we are not just making profits, but it's profits with purpose.
How do you get to that mindset? Because again, like you said, for most businesses, profit is the core of everything, because profit is how you're going to pay your people. It's how you're going to even report profits, performance for your company. But as a company, how do you intentionally get to that point where you're saying, yes, we're going to make profit, but we're going to put in place all the structures that are needed so that it's good profit. It's not just profit, but good profit.
No, you have to become aware of yourself and your space. And you have to be intentional as a business and as a people. I think it begins first with the person that you are, and then with the business, and then you cascade that mindset shift really to everybody, to your partners, to ultimately to all your stakeholders, who include then your shareholders and all your and the communities you are impacting. It's not an easy journey. Because like we've said, as we were starting, it's one of those very, very dicey situations, as it were. But it's about intentionality.
Yeah.
It's about being intentional. It's about acknowledging that the realities of where we are, for instance, if we just take the environment, we can no longer ignore the fact of the realities that we are living in. It's drought in, drought out, floods in, floods out.
Yes.
Those are the realities that we are living in. So we can't turn a blind eye to those realities. Same case with the social aspects. The communities we are seeing are now increasingly becoming impacted by decisions being made by our leaders, by our businesses. Look at how to put all that together in an ESG bucket. The governance, the decisions that we make as businesses, as leaders, must bear in mind that ultimately there's a direct impact to the people and the communities and the societies we are living in. Because we are not an island. No man is an island. No business is an island. You operate within a certain confine, be it regulatory confines, be it a statutory confines, as it were. You are headquartered somewhere. Britam is headquartered in Kenya with a presence in 6 countries. If we do not have offices, for instance, if we cannot access the offices because of the infrastructure being destroyed by floods, it's a direct impact on the business. Absolutely.
True. You talk about community a lot, which now brings the aspect of shared value, making sure that, yes, we're going to make profit, but also take care of the communities that we operate in and be a part of the ecosystem that we're in. What are some of the things that Britam is doing in that regard?
We are actually very big with our community and impact intention, as it were. We have a Britam Foundation for Starters that is very instrumental in how we reach the communities. One of the pillars in there is maternal health.
Okay.
We are working with disadvantaged women in Nairobi and I think 7 other countries where we are having a direct reach to assist women who would otherwise not access healthcare. And you see, when a woman is impacted, it has a direct impact on their family, their children, their husbands, and even the small communities and societies within they are in. Tied to that, we also have a project around restoring water for disadvantaged schools. So we are in ASL areas where we are restoring water boreholes or wells in partnership with one of our key partners, Davis and Shatcliffe, who are big in this space.
Yes.
And again, that has now a very cascade impact on the communities, because if a school has 1,000 pupils and those pupils are able to come to school and get water from the school, then the children are able to stay in school. They are able to even take water back home. And home, you imagine, maybe there are 3 other dependents. So it's a ripple effect. I think we've now reached an impact of about 40,000 students. When you use multiplier effects at that, it's about 200,000 just being reached directly. And those are just 2 areas I would want to highlight. When you look at our microinsurance business, which focuses on retail and SMEs, it reaches the otherwise underserved people who would not access insurance. The boda riders, you are now able to buy insurance embedded on your M-Pesa transactions. And so when you amplify that impact,
it's way bigger.
It's way bigger.
Yeah. I remember in one of the episodes, we sat down the representative from Davis and Shatcliffe, and he mentioned your company as one of the institutions that they're working with.
It's exciting.
And then there's a challenge he brought up, which is sometimes you go to communities to work with them, but there's resistance.
Yes.
So now, is the intention to work with Davis who are on the ground based on that, or you just prefer also the partnerships that come with it?
Partly because Davis has been in the water sector longer than we have been, and also how we navigate that resistance and ensure we have buy-in from the communities. We work with the Ministry of Education. We work with the community-based organizations. We sign MOUs with them. We work with county governments. So we ensure we are not antagonizing anybody. That we are here just for purposes of creating a lasting impact and legacy to these societies. We work with churches, with the chiefs, and in those localities. So when you go on the ground, there is really a lot of excitement and a lot of buy-in from the entire community, because then people understand that we are here to create impact for the benefit of all of us.
We're not working in a silo.
We are not working in a silo. We do not want to work in silos. That's how you end up with so much resistance.
Yes,
absolutely.
If I look at Britam, and I would imagine any other person looking at Britam, there's no direct linkage to issues of like environment. Because guys will be like, okay, we are paperless, so we don't harm the trees or whatever. So for a company like yours that don't have a direct environmental impact on issues of popular environmental initiatives like planting trees, how do you consciously say, even though we are not paper manufacturers, but we're going to make sure that we are playing a part in this ecosystem? How do you get to that mindset?
We arrive at that mindset when you look at what we call climate risk, and we ensure climate risks. And so when you have climate shocks like floods in Tana River, for instance, in 2024, we paid up, I think, in excess of 15 million to Tana River residents who were impacted by the floods there. And when you go on the ground with your partners, you establish that if we are able to restore the environment, plant trees, prevent soil erosion, the climate risk is assuaged, largely so. And so when you work backwards from a business point of view, then you end up paying out less claims, as it were. And so when you use that mindset, coupled with what I've discussed about our very deliberate plan around creating impact and lasting legacy in our societies, you work backwards and see how do we influence and impact these communities. If we plant trees, you establish seasonal jobs for the people. You leave a lasting legacy, especially if you plant fruit trees. It's food to the societies. You have people engaged in constructive economic activities, as it were. And ultimately, you restore the ecological systems of that place. And so for us, that's how we arrived at then just leaving a legacy of 60 million trees. We would love to plant 60 million trees in Kenya and in the countries we operate in. And commercially, there's the conversation around carbon credits. Downstream. But that's not the main driver. The main driver is that we would love to be present. When you plant a tree, you have to monitor it to grow. And you have to give it a minimum of 3 to 5 years.
And it's growing trees, not just planting
it's
and
growing,
delivering.
not just planting. What that then means is that you have to be on ground for the next 5 years, interacting with those communities, interacting with the pupils in that school. And ultimately, you are leaving a legacy of financial literacy. You're leaving a legacy of improving lives and well-beings. So you might want to package it that the trees are giving us an avenue to get into the communities, so that then we can have a 360 transformation, as it were.
It gives you a buy-in into other things.
Absolutely.
From a governance perspective, we have shareholders and stakeholders. How do you structure policies and structures around taking care of both ecosystems?
You have to be mindful of the governance standards, both locally and internationally. We have one of the main governance standards, the King 4 Code, that speaks to not just being mindful of shareholders, but being mindful of stakeholders as well. So that then when you're driving value, when you're driving transformation, it is for everybody, not just shareholders. Do not forget that the ultimate business owners, the ultimate reason you are in business is the shareholders. You have to create value for them. But in the process, you interact and impact a lot of stakeholders. You have to work in partnership with the businesses, the governments that have given you a license to operate that business. If a government wakes up and decides you will close, there's nothing you can do. Shareholder or no shareholder, capital injection. You have to be mindful of the media and the society you are working with. I think we are all aware of how bad media and bad reporting can take a business down very quickly. You have employees. And in the employee conversation, there is inclusion, there is the conversation around gender balance and gender diversity, because again, we have now all come to an acknowledgement that women, just like men, have a huge impact in the dynamics of society. You have to have discussions around pay parity conversations. Like everybody must be paid their worth for the job that they deliver. And so the governance conversation is all encompassing. You cannot pick one part and leave another part. It has to be all encompassing and all inclusive.
When we're having a conversation with ABSA, one of the things they mentioned was that the biggest challenge is getting the employees to buy into the ESG strategies. How are you guys doing it differently?
What we've done at Britam is that we have actually gotten employees to be champions. In your workspace where you are, it's opened a portal where you can now apply to be a champion. And what we have also done is we increasingly do a lot of awareness, create awareness and sensitization sessions across the organization. Recently, in the months of August to September, we ran what we call 60 Acts of Kindness campaign. This is reminding you of the basics, that ESG is about the basics. Turn off the water when you're brushing. You know, a lot of people, you leave the water running when you're brushing. That's water wastage.
It compounds, it's a lot of water.
It compounds a lot of water. Turn off the lights when you walk out of a room. Share your meal with your colleague. give out the shoes that you no longer wear.
Yes.
Stop hoarding.
Clothes
they are taking
and everything.
clothes. They are
Yeah.
taking too much space in your house, and they could be of use to somebody else in the society, or probably even your day bag,
Yes.
your house manager back at home, or if there are day bags here in Nairobi. So that drove a lot of awareness. At the end of the 60 days, people came and told us they had never viewed ESG in that
From
perspective.
That perspective. It stopped being this
it stops
monster
being
in the
this monster
boardroom.
out there.
Yeah.
Plant a tree. We were reading that a tree releases about 240 pounds of oxygen, enough to sustain a family of 4.
Yeah.
So when those details now come down to be that granular, it begins to make sense.
Makes
People
sense,
now
yeah.
begin to buy in and say, actually, I want to be engaged in this ESG conversation.
Yeah.
It now begins, walk to work or walk to town. We are based in Upper Hill. From Upper Hill to town is less than 3 kilometers. It's a walking distance.
True.
What that does is enhances your health. As you're walking, you get to meet people and socialize.
Yes.
And you obviously save some money.
True.
It's all
It
around.
becomes very practical.
It becomes extremely practical when you put it like that.
Yeah. I just want to thank you for making the time to sit with us. If you have any parting shot, this is your camera. Just share with the people that are watching.
Yeah, I think for me, my parting shot is that as responsible businesses, we have to be mindful to create profits with purpose. We don't live in a silo. We are living in an increasingly intertwined world, and so it's you and I to work together to make the world a better place for all of us.
Yeah. Thank you, Hilda, for making the time. Thank you, guys, for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. You've learned a thing or two. We're going to share all the sustainability reports from Britam in the comment section, in the description section. And we hope that you also check out their products. They have good products. And if you work at Britam, take Britam in the comment section. I'll see you in the next one. My name is Sebastian. Thank you very much.